Hi there, I'm Kat.
And I'm Derek. Welcome to Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.
We're your backstage pass into the world of family businesses. The real stories, the real challenges, and everything that makes these businesses thrive across generations.
Each week, we'll sit down with entrepreneurs, leaders, service providers, and family dynasties to swap stories, dig into some lessons, and have some laughs along the way.
So whether you're part of a family business, dreaming of starting one, or you just love a good success story, you're in the right place.
So let's get into it. It's time for Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. Welcome back to Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. I am Derek Volk. I am the owner and the CEO of Volk Packaging Corporation, a corrugated box manufacturer and third-generation family-owned business located in Biddeford, Maine. And I'm sitting with Catherine Wygant-Fawcett, who is the executive director of the Institute for Family-Owned Business, which I am a proud member of. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And our guest today is Quang Nguyen. Quang is are you the owner, Quang?
Part of, yeah.
Part owner, okay, of Fisherman's Net. And let's hear all about it. So we Chit Chat with Derek and Kat was designed to talk to Maine family businesses. And you are not only a Maine family business, you're a first generation family-owned business, and you won the big award this year.
Yes, the Horse Roofing First Generation Award. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Actually, last year, I guess, right? Technically, but you're the reigning winner, the reigning champion.
Yes,
until next October.
Yeah, or this October.
This October, okay.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell us all about Fisherman's Net.
Yeah. So, I guess my name's Quang Nguyen. I'm the co-owner of Fisherman's Net. We actually started the company going to be 7 years this year, back in 2018. The story we had actually is funny because that's when my parents came over from Vietnam, and we were looking for, they were looking for something to do. And, as a son, you've been in America, I don't want to put my mom and dad going through, as a light worker, working on a factory, staying in 12 hours a day. I want something that they enjoy to do. Something that they're familiar with. So growing up in Vietnam, mom and dad have a fish farm that they started back in 1990. And they do that for like 30 plus years. And, one day driving by Forest Avenue, I just, happen to see, the fish market, and just, pop up an idea on my head that, there could be something interesting for mom and dad to do. And so I decided the next day I stopped by the fish market and blankly asked the owner, are you looking to sell your business at some point? And, obviously say no. And, I happened to drop my business card, my number back there, and she called me back in 2 weeks, and we talked, and finally we got, wrap around the whole deal and get a fish market. So that was in Portland, and then it was just a retail seafood market. In 2021, the end of 2021, we caught on like a big fire, basically depleting our whole retail, and then we have to find a new location to move our products and to move our location, because at the time it was very busy. And we found 36 Bad Road in Brunswick. That's happened to be for sale. The guy actually reached out to us. It happened to be already a restaurant and already a seafood retail market, and it's our wholesale side. So it's kind of worked out perfectly fine for us. And we moved there 2022. So we kind of incorporate what we have, and also we incorporate because there's already a restaurant, and we think we feel strongly that our Vietnamese cuisine can be a good blended into the seafood, Maine seafood environment, in the restaurant fashion. So we decided to incorporate the menu, add in more products, more dishes that have a little bit of the Vietnamese taste or Asian culture in it. So we came up with a banh mi. We came up with the scallop with the sauce.
That's what my husband and I had.
Yeah. So those came along. It's create a job opportunity for the whole family. My mom, dad, my brothers, my cousins work there. So it worked out really nice for us. We're very happy that we get support by the communities, by the people, the tourists coming in every summer that they love, our restaurant. They love what we offer. We also ship lobster. We ship seafood across the country, via overnight shipping. So we have, we send like a box of 10 live lobster to California, Texas, and the whole 9 yards. So it's quite an interesting business, and we love it.
You mentioned you have several family, your parents, cousins. So how many family members are actively involved?
So my mom and dad, my cousin, my brother, so 5, myself, at least 6. And well, you count my cousin's kid because he come in and does a little marketing video for the business, so we 7.
Wow, that's terrific.
So any challenges with that?
Good times now, but I think, we set our boundary. We basically, when it's at work, it's work business. When it's at home, it's family. So it's, there's some tough conversation at work and whatnot, but, you as long as you have that boundary, that guideline, I think that's important to have in the beginning.
That is really good. When I started in my family business, about 6 months into it, I was driving in the car somewhere with my father, and he said, let's make a deal. We don't talk about work when we're not at work, because he and my grandfather got to the point where that's all they ever talked about. They got to the point where every time they were together, they talked about work, and they kind of lost that father-son, rapport, because it always came back to work. So for years, we never talked about work when we were outside of work. And sometimes it was awkward because we'd be in the car or we'd be on the golf cart, somewhere, and we're both thinking about work,
Yeah.
but neither one of us. So you got to be like, did you see the Red Sox game yesterday? You got to come up with something to talk about. Now he's retired. We talk about work all the time because he's retired. But back then it was different. And I'm sure it's challenging having that many family members involved and no talking about work.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, we, the funny thing is that we, my goal to keep the 3-generation families, household in the same household. So my mom and dad, myself, my kid, my wife, and my brother all live together in the same household. So, you cannot avoid, have a conversation at home, but then, we always have that guideline that, we don't talk about work at home. So we kind of keep the family oriented. We kind of keep that tradition going. We have to have, family dinner at home. It's going to be boring. You talk about work during, dinner at home. So.
And so you have a restaurant, and that's a very challenging business. Most restaurants don't make it more than 3 or 4 years, right? So how's it going? And what is your, obviously you sell a unique food for Brunswick, Maine. How's the restaurant going?
It's going well. Actually, we actually implement the Vietnamese dishes back, I think, the end of 2023. So 2024 was the full first year that we actually have in the blended, cuisine, alongside with, the traditional fried seafood. You got, fried shrimp, we got fried scallop, lobster roll, that whole 9 yard. And then you got, the Vietnamese banh mi, which is the sandwich, traditional sandwich for Vietnamese. And then we got, now we add on, noodle and stuff like that. So it's been doing well. It's been very well accepted by the communities, not only the tourists, but also the local community. We start getting people coming and dine, and having dinner, at our restaurant. And, before there's a lot of in the winter, there's a lot of people just come in and buy the fresh product. Now, even in the winter, we have people come in for lunch, for dinner, and they spend time at the restaurant. And, we're very happy with the result of it. It's, it's challenged some, because of the rising of food costs and the rising of labor costs and, different mandate, different, thing that we have to follow. But at the same time, I think, we passionate about what we do and we believe in the business model. So, I think it will turn out fine for us.
I think you had some international staff when I was there too. My husband and I stopped by.
Right.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a gentleman. He's from the Congo. And that gentleman is from the Angola. Actually, one of them used to be a chef on a cruise ship.
Oh, wow.
And he'd been doing that for like a few years, and he decided to settle in the US. And I actually met him through one of my speech at SMCC. And we talked, we really liked each other. He decided to come and help me, and he did really well, fantastically well.
Does your staff fluctuate quite a bit as summer approaches?
Yeah, summer approach, we're going to add in more staff for sure. In the winter, we kind of scale down as much as we can to keep costs at a minimum. But we don't want to lose good employees. We don't want to lose good staff. And obviously, a big part of that is family, right? You cannot kick families out, right?
What's the way your policies are?
Yeah. But we keep, our best employees, keep them employed, even though, they really, working with us, even though with a reduced hour, but we kind of compensate them through other ways, but in the summer, we're going to start adding more employees because we're going to anticipate a very busy summer for us. So, and we recently add on like a food truck on top of that as well. So,
oh, wow.
So is that new, having the food truck?
Yeah, like just last summer.
And where does that tend to go?
Different way. We actually just apply for BIW. So we're actually gonna pop up there for lunch, during lunch, and then we apply for a couple of events around Brunswick area as well. So last year was very well received by people. So yeah.
Is it the same menu on the food truck as in the
It's a reduction of menu. We pick out what our best seller for the food truck, and along the way with a little twist here and there to fit the nature of the food truck.
So do you have some other business interests as well that you work on?
I do. I actually, my full-time job, I'm a financial advisor. So
yes, I thought you had some other businesses.
Yeah. So I do financial planning, and I do, 401k, and that kind of stuff. So I actually have an office in Saco, so not too far from you there.
Oh, no. That's interesting.
Yeah, I used to own a couple of nail salon. I gradually, transitioned that to a family member who, so my business model, basically, I found an opportunity. I linked that opportunity with a family member, and then I help them, support them in the background as, there's, strategists or finance, that kind of, because that's where my strength is. And then build that individual, that family member that, friends out so that when they become capable of running a business, then I transition out to them. So that become their own American dream, that become, their business, so they can bring the family, they can, support their whole families afterwards. So
you're like regular Shark Tank.
Not so much. I wish I can. I'm like a little fish in the tank.
Yeah. A family Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
So, and you also do some community things, or potentially work on some different boards?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually the board chair of the Greater Portland Immigrant Welcome Center. So we serve the immigrant communities around Portland. Different projects. We help people with English. We help people with community service. We help people with entrepreneurship, to open a business, how to open an LLC, that kind of stuff. So there's a different program there. It's been some challenges with, the current climax, but, we're definitely working on that to help the communities.
We've had 4 employees here at Volk Packaging become American citizens.
Wonderful.
while working for us. Yeah, 2 from Cambodia, 1 from Afghanistan, and 1 from Ukraine.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really neat to watch that development, watch them become American citizens, and then help them live that American dream, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that's important. Myself, when I came here in 2007, when I was 18, after graduating from high school and didn't speak any English, came over here, actually lost my flight, and I'm in Portland, Oregon. Instead of Portland, Maine. I didn't know there were 2 Portland. So
you went to the wrong Portland?
I was to Portland.
Oh my goodness.
Portland. Eating, I think my first meal in America was the hamburger from McDonald's. It was, so it was quite a little culture different when I first came. A lot of way, with the English barrier, that's another thing too. But, very lucky, very fortunate that met, great people to helping me along the way. And, when you are young, when you come to America, you think that, you gotta work hard, you'll make money. You gotta, buy a car, buy a house, and that could be your American dream. But then, after when I brought my parents over, my family's over, and then seeing them change in their lifestyle, seeing them fulfill their own American dream, that is actually the true American dream. That way you can help other people, help other family member, and fulfill their own American dream. And you can see, how that become fruitful. And that, your family have a different, lifestyle, or a much better lifestyle compared to what they were. My mom and dad used to make less than $1 a day and still able to raise us 4 kids to go to college. So it's definitely, very rewarding to see all of that happening. And, I always, consider myself very fortunate to be able to live through that and through experience all through that and still living in it, that dream.
And you got over to the right Portland.
Get to the right Portland. Well, I don't know about that. I never have a chance to live in Portland, Oregon, so I might change my opinion.
I've been to Portland, Oregon. You picked the right one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's funny. I went to Costa Rica, and there was a girl on the plane who booked a flight for the wrong San Jose. She was supposed to go to California. All of a sudden, she found herself in Costa Rica. I have no idea how she didn't figure that out before she got on the plane when they asked for her passport.
Yeah.
But it's certainly a lot easier coming from Vietnam. So you came here, you didn't speak any English at all?
Not at all. It's just a little bit like a tiny bit, I know how to read and write because that's how, we have a couple of years in high school that we learn. But then, only a few words. That's how you can write, but then in Vietnam, you study the British accents, right? Even what you what you listen and speak is people here don't understand at all, right? Because you learn from somebody having an accent. So all right, so it's lost in the mix.
Yeah, I grew up going to British schools and American schools, and I had a British accent, an Australian accent, American accent. So I understand that, and it's different handwriting and different things like that too.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember you live a lot of different countries when you grow up.
I lived in Russia, West Africa, Australia, and the Pacific, and I have a bracelet here from Vietnam. Oh, that my dad brought back.
That's awesome.
So we've been involved with immigrant programs or immigrant things as well. My brother-in-law deployed to Iraq, and he had an Iraqi interpreter, and we helped him come back and immigrate to the U.S. What do you think the challenges are now? I know that there isn't a lot of English for people to learn English. How did you learn English? Like, he learned English a lot watching movies and things like that. So
it actually in the first 6 months it was difficult because I think the biggest barrier for people to learn English is their self-esteem. We're just afraid that we are wrong, right? We're afraid to speak out. We're afraid to say something because we're afraid we don't say it right. So after 6 months, I decided, it's not going to work. I got to change the strategy. So I actually involved a lot into the school activity. So I joined different, club and organization. I talked to professor after class and all of that. So I think it's just interaction. The more you interact with people, the better the faster you're going to learn English.
When you came to school, you had only reading and writing English. You weren't speaking English when you came to go to college?
Right. So, wow. When I first came, every class I go, I have, a small dictionary. You have to type in every single word to translate what it actually means. I think, I remember because my first 3 class were the ESL class. I got 2 C and a B minus on my first 3 ESL. The rest of my college is A. So I always go back to the same teacher and my ESL teacher, you're the one who gave me a C in my college career.
And you have children, you said?
I have a 16 months old.
Oh, okay, great. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the perspective in life, definitely a lot happier, definitely, more responsibility, but very happy to see him growing up and, his next generation of family, right? So
yeah. And it's hard, long hours in the restaurant business.
It is. Well, I'm very fortunate. I'm in the back seat. My cousin, my mom and dad actually work there most of the time. I spend some time there during the summer to help out. And then during the meetings and whatnot, I'll be there. But I focus a lot on my full-time job as a financial advisor.
And how's that going?
It's going really well. It's going really well. Really happy. Very, I always like number. I always like analytical. So helping people with financial planning, helping people, to retire comfortably, make sure they have money throughout to their retirement, and not worry about the market, or not worry about running out of money. I think that's important to a lot of people, and it's very rewarding to see people that can, after they work for many years, and the point of they retire, you can actually tell them that you should be okay to retire, instead of telling them, well, you may have to work another 5-10 years. So yeah.
So you're not only a family business member as with the Fisherman's Net, but you're also could be a tremendous asset to a lot of our listeners, to a lot of the members of the Institute for Family-Owned Business who are trying to figure out, okay, what's my next generation? What's my exit strategy? What's my succession plan? How am I going to get out of this where I can retire at a decent age and not work till I'm 90 years old?
Absolutely. And actually, one of my certification that I went through is the Certified Exit Planning Advisor. So it actually helped a lot of, business to analyze what's their business value, what strategy they can in place right now, so that in 3 years and 5 years, they can get the most out of their business, or, how to plan for your legacy for your business, if that gonna continue to the next generations. So I do a lot of that too as well.
So what advice do you give to family businesses or people about succession?
I think it's all depend on the goal. If they have people line up to continue the business, if that's something they want to continue that legacy. It's funny because I talked to somebody yesterday, and his ex-wife used to own a bank somewhere in Chicago since 1857, I recall, and it's all in the same family. Her brother now is the 8th generation to run that bank, that local bank. So I think it's all depend on the scenario. If that's going to be something they want to be exit as the most cash flow as possible, so they can get rewarding and retire, or the goal is to get the next generation to be ready and continue that legacy. And there's different scenario, different strategy that you can place around that as well. Or some people that want to utilize the current employees, or some of the employees can run the company when they retire. That's another option as well.
That's excellent. Well, we'll have to make sure we keep that in mind with future guests, and we'll recommend you.
Absolutely. That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
So before we get to the lightning round that we like to do at the end, why don't you tell us both. Tell us how people can get to Fisherman's Net, what you offer there, how social media, website, all that kind of stuff, and then do the same thing with your financial planning business.
Sure. So, Fisherman, we're located 36 Bath Road in Brunswick, and we just about 500 feet on the right from Bowdoin College. And, we are actively on Facebook, Instagram. I think we have a TikTok too. I don't TikTok.
You're not doing any TikTok?
So we have, Facebook, Instagram. We have a website where you can place an order online. We also have drive-through. We are actively engaged with DoorDash and Uber Eats. So those are different areas that you can. We also have 10% discount for healthcare, senior, and BRW employees. So you come in and you have, your badge, and we'll give you a 10% discount for your restaurant, meals. And, we actively, looking for it to be involved with the community, during, I think the storm that we had a couple of years ago, we offered free meals to people, who lost power. So we are very actively engaged with community, actively engaged with the, college. And we proud of our work. We're proud of our, meal that we serve to people. If you ever come in and try the Vietnamese sandwich, the banh mi, those are good. We also have the Vietnamese coffee, one of the best coffee you can find in town. Strong, sweet, and it will keep you up for the whole day.
Very good.
And tell us about how would someone reach out to you if they wanted to talk about succession planning, exit planning, financial planning.
Absolutely. Our branch, my branch is actually 311 Main Street in Saco. It's an Edward Jones office. And we're here Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can call at 207-286-8611 is my office number.
Terrific. And we'll put all that in the show notes. So if you're listening and you'd like to reach Quang on any of those topics, you can check out our show notes and we'll have all that information on there.
Great. Thank you.
All right. You ready for the lightning round?
No, I have no idea what it is, but I'm ready for it.
All right.
So it's a fast fire questions that we put to you. So what saying are you known for? Like I say, what saying are you known for? So I say to people, stick with me, kid, you'll have fun, but then you'll also learn something too. So do you have a saying that you say to family or friends or employees?
Well, life is 90%. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
Good one.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right. So let me ask this question. What would you tell us about yourself that's something interesting that wouldn't appear on a typical bio about you?
I'm a very stubborn guy. I drove to the emergency room after I broke my leg playing soccer.
Oh my goodness.
And the nurse basically asking after she, tie me up, realize how you get home. I'm like, I'm driving home. So like, no way.
Yep. Okay, so our other question is, what kind of books, podcasts, periodicals, or what things do you listen to continue with your onward learning?
I love motivation speaker. I love motivation's book. One of my favorite books is Good to Great. And it just show you, just tell you how to fight a battle on whatever you do in life.
That's a good one.
And then the final one.
And then the final one is what are you streaming? Anything good that you've been watching on TV lately? Any good streaming shows, Netflix or anything?
Netflix. I recently watched what did I watch? Oh, I watched cartel movies and talk about the drug cartel and how the DA get them down, all of that. So.
Oh yeah, okay, good.
I love soccer too, so I've been watching soccer almost twice a day.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have you seen that Portland is getting a new soccer team?
I did. They won yesterday in Lewiston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
good team.
What do they call the
Pine? Heart of Pine.
Heart of Pine, yeah. Portland Heart of Pine.
I just heard about that.
New soccer team. Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Quang, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate you coming on Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. Congratulations again on your award for the Institute for Family-Owned Business Award. And we look forward to seeing you soon up at the restaurant. We'll have to come up and have some dinner.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for supporting the business.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Chit Chat with Derek and Kat. If you loved hearing today's family business story, don't forget to follow the show and leave us a review. It helps more people find these amazing stories. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Want to learn more about the families and service providers we feature or get involved with the Institute for Family-Owned Business or Volk Packaging Corporation? Visit fambusiness.org, fambusiness.org. We'll see you next time on Chit Chat with Derek and Kat.